Okay, the recording started, so we can officially start the meeting.
All right, so I will say all that again. We have Frank Mahalko here in place of Ron, who has been promoted to a regional position for Fish and Boat. So thank you, Frank, for being here. And Ed and I just introduced ourselves. So Beth, if you would like to introduce yourself to Frank, go ahead.
I am Beth Sassaman. I'm the District Conservation Agent for NRC.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so I did send out an agenda. It's a very short agenda. We just have one thing to go over today, and then I wanted to mention our 3 applications that we received for the fall round of funding, and we'll be reviewing those and hopefully making a recommendation to our board next month. So the first thing, well, we did not receive any public comments for this meeting. So moving on to Edgemont Township. They were awarded a low volume road grant a year ago. Or maybe that was spring 2020. That was in spring 2020. So they were one of our first applicants, and they have had some township manager turnover, and with all the COVID delays, they were unable to complete their project. So they're requesting an extension through June 1st of 2022, and their contract was set to expire this month, November. So they're just requesting an additional 7 months to complete their project. Given all those circumstances with the turnover and the COVID delays, I think it's acceptable to accept their request. So, do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay. So
you can make the motion.
Okay. So I guess we'll make a motion to accept Edgemont Township's extension request through June 1st, 2022 for their low volume road grant. Do we have a
second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks, Beth.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No one opposed? The motion carries.
Okay. That was our first order of business. And then second order of business, which we don't have to make any motions for, I just want to give you a heads up. We received 3 applications from our Delaware County Parks and Recreation Department for a project at Smedley Park in Springfield. They're looking to fix up a water quality basin that is not currently functioning properly. The outlet pipe is clogged and buried and does not release any of the storm water that comes through, and that area is very prone to flooding. So water just sits there after a storm, and if it were functioning properly, it would filter through this water quality basin, infiltrate into the soil there, and then any remaining stormwater runoff should flow through the pipe into Crum Creek. So they're looking to replace the pipe with something bigger, create an access to a backflow valve near an inlet riser. What else? We're going to be...
Yeah, basically what happened was they had a water quality basin. It basically was just a detention structure with some low wetland features in it. They didn't do any planning in it, so we're going to try to naturalize it. We have another grant from PACD for a volunteer planning project if it's funded. Then when they put the outlet structure in, it was there, and then they didn't have any barriers around the basin, so some big 4-wheel trucks crushed everything, crushed the outlet and ran through the basin like a mud hole. So that's why the outlet, they can't even find it because it has a backflow preventer on it. So every time they've tried to locate it without getting the backhoe in there and digging it out, they've tried using a blower to blow through. They can't find where the outlet is, how far it's buried. So it's been buried by the thing. So the problem is we were out there in the last flood, and even though the creek was down the basin still flooded the road out. So the road is all buckling up as well around there. So that was the problem with that one.
Yep, so that's from Delaware County Parks and Recreation, and like Ed said, we would be working with them through that PACD mini grant to do a planting, if it's awarded and everything goes according to plan. So that's application number 1. Number 2, we got one from Nether Providence Township. They're having ponding and flooding issues on, what road is it? Forest Avenue. And the road is cracking and deteriorating, and parts of it are washing away. Because of the standing water, they're having icing issues. So one of the solutions that they came up with in their original application was just to put in an infiltration swale, and that would include a perforated pipe that would lead to the stormwater inlets, and then riprap just to filter out that water. When I went out to this site, after they had submitted the application, we came up with a couple other ideas, including a rain garden. So they're going to be working on the scope of their project and coming up with a new budget for us. So when that one's ready to go, I will send, all 3 applications over to you guys for review. And the last one that we got is from Yaden Borough again. They were one of our first awardees, and they're actually the only one to have completed a project in the time that we've been doing this program. What they're looking to do is very similar from their first project. They'll be replacing a couple of stormwater inlets, some of those old city inlets with the more modern traditional inlets, and then they'd be installing inlet filters into those to filter out any debris, sediment, stuff like that. And part of their scope is going to be regrading and repaving, so that's a high cost, and they said that they would accept a lower amount if the QAB so decides. So we do have more funding requests than we have available funds. I would say, I didn't do the exact numbers, but we have about 90,000 available for projects. And I think they came in at about 150,000. So we have some discussion and some decisions to make. So what I'll do next is, once I have that revised scope from Nether Providence, I can send that to everyone, and also the ranking forms for you to look over and fill out to the best of your ability. And then we can have a discussion next month about which ones we want to move forward with funding, and if we want to make any changes and whatnot. So, any questions about those projects for now?
Nope.
No? Ed?
No, Beth, you have, in Chester County, do they have a big demand for projects?
We had one application is made in the spring.
Wow.
Was that low volume or dirt and gravel or both between the two?
I think it was probably low volume.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tough. We're trying to work with the people, we might be able to get 2 of them done, but certainly not 3. So we are really, technically, right now, we only have room for 1, so. But,
Right. Yeah, I think at least for the Delaware County Parks and Rec one, the one at Smedley Park, we got a quote from a contractor, and it seemed to be a very rough estimate, and there's a lot of different aspects to that project. So I think we'd be able to accept a lesser amount than what's in the application. So I think with all of them, all the applicants they're willing to work with us and accept a lesser amount, if we decide to fund them.
the problem we're having, we've been working through, is that all the municipalities that have questions on this fact is that contractors aren't willing to do bids because they're too busy right now. They don't have enough workers. And everything's coming in really, really high. So that's another problem we're facing. I don't know if you've seen that in the ag sector too, Beth, or not.
Yeah, we had a really hard time getting people to sign contracts this year. Between the cost of materials and the availability of contractors. It was hard to give money away.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of projects that they had funding for, but their bids came in twice as high as they could, so they couldn't do the project. So, on other things.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other business?
No, that is all for today. I just wanted to get that approval for Edgemont. Except now we'll have our board meeting following this, so we do need the official okay from our board of directors for that extension request. And I don't know if we'll have a quorum today, but we'll see. But now I can, at least get back in touch with Edgemont and say that it's okay with our QAB. So, and we can work with them to get that project completed.
Thank you very much for attending, and good luck with your transfer.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for attending.
You're welcome.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Good day.
See you in a little bit.
You too.
Yep.